All right, GPO fruit battle royale tier list. I'm recording this because the other one I made was a little too long, so I wanted to be a little bit more concise with my thoughts and have a little bit of a changes in thought as well. So yeah, I'm basically gonna rate most of the fruits off of how good they are during the beginning of the game and during the end of the game, because that's where most of the fruits tend to matter. Some fruits are a lot better in early and drop off later, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to make the most consistent tier as I can. A lot of these fruits can potentially go up if people start to solve them, or can go lower. Certain two fruits that I think can go lower, I'm gonna talk about later. But yeah, I'm gonna start with Bari. This is one of the fruits that I think can go higher. If people start to solve this a little better, it might be a little better. On paper, it should be good, but in practice, what tends to happen is that you just get smacked and you don't do enough damage because Bari kind of sucks at doing damage. You could if you're good enough, but like 1v1ing in the final circle is very hard when you're getting blasted by AoEs constantly. The good thing about it is it has a sphere, so you can block ults, you can keep yourself protected, and a teammate protected specifically. I think this excels more in duos and squads than it does in either mode, mainly in solos. It kind of sucks. You can, on paper, you can block people out, and you can toss them out of the circle with the Bari wall. But for the most part, it doesn't tend to be like that. Again, if people start to figure out like better ways to optimize this, because again, early game this kind of sucks. It does have some level of movement, but it's not amazing with stairs. But yeah, it could go up to A, it could even maybe BS if people start doing it well. It does directly counter bomb, which is gonna be the next fruit I'm gonna talk about. But yeah, overall it's fine. It could be better. Next again, it was bomb. It's gonna be auto win. Most people agree that it's one of the best fruits, top 5-ish. Some people say it's one, which I heavily disagree with. It's pretty good, mainly just the explosion. And I feel like in solo it's a lot worse than it is in any other mode. I think in every other mode it's a mandatory. Like squads, you gotta have a bomb. It like auto wins the game, especially if you have Bari. I feel like of some squad if synergies that I can think of where it would just be absolutely broken. It is a very good fruit. Only issue is again you're gonna have to sacrifice your health at the end, so you might get it blown back by a person that ends up living the explosion or is able to counter the explosion with a tech or just jump out and jump back inside. It does have movement, so early game is pretty decent. Late game again it's very good just because of the ult. And it has some even stuff like leap and grab can toss people into the storm. But yeah, it's pretty decent. It's an auto win. You could give me an argument to put it in S, and I would honestly put it in S. I think it's eventually going to be in S once people start realizing it's not as good as people think that it is. But it is pretty solid. But I'll put it in auto win for now. Again, it could drop to S. Next is gum. I think everything from B and below is, I would suggest not to eat. You could eat it if you need it, because I've eaten gum a ton of times, but it wasn't because of the moves. You could do Gatling shenanigans, but it's not amazing. The main thing you're doing is what's it called? Rocket, I think it is. Whatever the grapple move, the move that gives you mobility. It has mobility, so it's inherently better than like things I'm going to talk about in C. And it has a level of moves. You could do stuff with it. I feel like it might be better in solos than it is in duos. But in the end circle, just gonna smack. It does have an ult which like auto kills somebody. But it's not amazing. But again, it does have movement, so it's gonna stay in B. Again, wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's okay. Next is Goro. With Goro, I'm gonna put it in S. I think it's a little overrated. People are saying it's like auto win type beat, but I don't. There's just like certain fruits. It has movement. It has a bunch of big AoEs, but the AoEs aren't like insane. Its damage is decent. It even has very early game because you can just combo with it if you really need to. But my main issue is that the cooldowns are insanely high on a lot of its moves. And you might end up having stamina issues. It's good, but it's not insane. Again, the movement helps, but I feel like there are better options. And it has, but yeah, I don't know. It's good, but slightly overrated, I think. I think it is an S tiered thing. I don't think it can be argued to be an A. It is an S. I just don't think it can be argued to be an auto win. I don't know. It has too many like flaws, and mainly in the cooldowns for me to wonder like that. Gura, this has some potential to go up in auto. I was seeing people use it, and it's not as good as you think it is on paper. If you're able to hold the moves, then you're set. Like Shock Punch can knock people out. Quake can, like the giant AoE thing can knock people out. The ult technically can knock people out, But what tends to happen is that people don't invest into it, so the damage is very low and people don't get knocked very back as much as you think they would. Especially with the ult. It's not as auto-winny. The ult isn't as auto-winny as you think it is in the final circle. It's pretty good though. I'll put it in S. It could rise up here, but I really need to see more results with it because as of right now, I'm just anytime I see a girl, they end up getting tossed, or the ult just doesn't do as much as you think it would, or they run out of stamina trying to run a bunch of the moves to knock people out. And it has no movement or counter to water, so it has that issue. So it does have decent early game because it has decent combos, and people tend to run away from you. But there's a good chance you get smacked up because someone just doesn't care, just rushes you. But yeah. Next is Hiei. It's an S tier. A lot of these leagues are S tier, obviously, because the game is pretty good. Has Stomp, knocks people the hell out. It basically auto kills somebody in the final circle, especially if they got chipped out during the round. The ult is decent. It's not amazing. It has movement, which is pretty decent. It is immune to water, so it has a ton of things going for it that are good. I think the only issue is it's low damage, and you really need to rely on summoners for damage. So it's a big issue. It has movement to run, but it doesn't have vertical movement. It just has horizontal movement. So it's like okay in that department, but overall it's a pretty decent fruit. I think you can't go wrong with this. You can't go wrong with anything in A, and I think mainly S. But yeah, it's pretty decent. Next I have Horo. It's a C. People would say it's like D or something. I don't agree. It's fine. Like you could. The thing about it is you can chase people down with it. If someone tries to run from you, especially if you're trying to build out, this is a decent one if you're just trying to build out. So you can build up to a bomb or something or anything above it. The minus is B. It can chase people down. It's very good at it. The ghosts, you can just send the ghosts. You run at them. As soon as the ghost hits, they will get stunned to hell, and you can start comboing them. Pretty good. Very good early game, honestly. I feel like it falls out of mid game very easily because you can start getting ganked quite easily. Early game, if you're able to isolate people, pretty good, or catch people running. You could argue that it could be in B, but I'll put it in C. It also has like the ult in duos. It has a niche thing where if you grab your teammate, you can avoid taking damage or them taking damage. Not you though, but you can avoid them taking damage. So if someone doesn't ult, you can ult yourself. Have your ult beforehand. And then grab your teammate so the teammate is immune. And that is a decently big AoE as well. So it's not bad. Overall, I just don't think it's amazing. I saw no movement or immunity to water. Ito is next. It's an A. You can maybe argue that's... actually, I don't know if you can argue it's us. I'm going to put it at A. Just standard A, not A minus. The main issue with it is... its damage is low. It does have decent, very good combo ability. Its movement is amazing. It's all just pretty good. This is the main reasons though. It's decent enough. But yeah, other than that, it's not like on the level of these. It's just it feels like a baby version of them. It's pretty good though. Mainly the movement again. You can just get away from anything. It's very fast. You can get cross map quite quickly. You can start looting quite fast. And overall, it's pretty decent. Yeah, I don't know. The problem though, damage. And you have to be good with it. The combo. I don't know. You can run with it, so it's pretty decent. It is hard to build out unless you, again, try to run. Try to fight people. Next is Kage. I almost always forget Kage's name. Jesus. Kage. It's a lot better than people are saying. People are saying it's complete garbage. I do not agree at all. It has movement. The movement isn't very good at all. They need a buff. They need to buff the hell out of the movement. The movement's decent. It's fine. You can run. I feel like people can still catch you, but if you're able to run up jump up a hill, which is all you really need with this thing, it's pretty good. It can combo, so it's a pretty decent early game. Late game, it kind of falls off slightly. It does have like the box and stuff does have things to isolate you. You can also keep people from chasing you with it. You can smack up people with that. Just put them in like the center and get like a teammate or someone to like smack them up. So the box is fine. The other moves are fine. The ult is pretty bad. I actually did end up winning a game with the ult because me and the other person that were in the circle got knocked down, but my ult was up, so the ult gripped the person and ended up winning. I wish I didn't record it, but I did get the win screen of it. But yeah, Kage's decent. It's not amazing. It could. I don't see it potentially going up very much. Like at most I could go A, but even then I don't think it's gonna be insane. It's just fine. It is kind of threatening sometimes. I wouldn't engage a Kage to beat. But I don't know. It's alright. Pretty decent, honestly. Little underrated. Next is Kilo. Kilo's fine. You could, again, same with the C. You can guard Q, you can B and B. Only thing it has going for it is the flight, though. So I have it here for a reason. You can, I don't know. The flight is just whatever. You can go upwards. You can avoid a lot of people. You can avoid a bunch of attacks. You can just get out of combat. It's fine. It's not amazing or anything. If you really need some kind of movement, it's fine. It does strain your stamina a lot, though. So I just think it's okay. Like, it might be the worst. I'll see later. But yeah, it's alright. This is Magu. I think this is the best fruit in the mode. I don't see anything better than it. So it's good in every single mode in the game. It's super. It does a ton of damage. It's immune to water. It doesn't have movement, but it doesn't matter because again, doesn't lose to water. It's really all you care about. It does a ton of damage. You can combo with it. The ult is amazing to knock people out, to even just kill them. I don't know. Everything about it is broken. I think this is the best fruit in the game. In this game mode specifically, you can argue some others, but some others have like don't have an immunity to water, unlike this thing does. So I don't know. I think it's the best fruit. It does a ton of damage. You could argue against it, but yeah, it's top. I feel like the top three are very interchangeable, minus the next one. I think Mara's below it. You can maybe make an argument that this is better because it does have flight, and you're able to get to situations where just people can't chase you. But I still think Magu is a little better. The thing I will say about Mara is it has Pillar, and Pillar is very good in the final circle. It just knocks people out. It's just insta die. It does a ton of damage. The problem is it has easily perfect blockable, and the ult is pretty good though. I will say. Again, flight pretty good. But yeah, for the most part, it's very good. Flight, you can argue the top three. I could even say this. I was earlier arguing that you couldn't argue it above Marco, but you could just because of Pillar. But it's very broken. In the final circles, again, very good early game. Everything here is good early game and good late game. That's why they're here. Some of these might have some issues during certain spots of the game or have like non-immunities. Everything here has a way to deal with water. Even bomb. It's not amazing at it, but it can get you out of water. I've done it multiple times. All right, Marrow. These three are very interchangeable, I feel. This is the last thing in C. I feel like you can argue Marrow's here. You can also chase people down with Horo, although it's a lot easier with Horo. Marrow, on the other hand, has very good combos, but again, BR, you can easily get interrupted. It's fine. The damage isn't amazing. It doesn't have an immunity to water. I feel like these two just have very similar issues and have very similar strengths, but they're not amazing. You could eat them. I just wouldn't. You'd probably want to reset. I think everything below A are very good early game. You could do stuff with them early game, but you'd want to reset them by late game. But yeah, I think Marrow's probably worse than Horo. You could argue interchangeably that they're around here. But yeah, it's fine. It's not amazing. Good combos at least. Next is Mochi. I think this thing has a similar what's it called? A similar syndrome with a bomb does, where it's all does amazing, but unlike bomb, it has like everything else is very good. Just because of the ult is so good, you just like kill everyone basically with it. To put out step points, they get all tossed in the storm. On paper, it just sounds broken. It might be not as good as it is in practice. It could. I could see it going S with bomb eventually. Right now, I'm gonna put it in auto win because the ult is so good. You just grab everyone into it, toss them, and then they all die. Very self-explanatory. The rest of the moves are decent. It even has like the punch, which knock people out. Block breaks them. Gatling is decent. Chestnut can shoot from afar. It's not amazing, but it's fine. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. Again, ways to get out. Movement. It isn't immune to water, so that is the main thing. And it doesn't have vertical movement. It's just horizontal movement. But yeah, it's alright. Paw. I feel like I'm gonna put this in A. It might even be A-, but I'll put it in A for now. It technically does have things like the ult, I think the rendezvous, I forget what it's called, whatever it's called, to TP people out. You can suicide with it if you're playing in duos or squads. You could just take out entire teams, honestly. But my main gripe with it is that it's just lacking overall everything else because the damage isn't amazing. You're gonna have to combo with it, and I feel like you're gonna have to rely on the teammate. Unless you have a giant health build and you're able to rendezvous certain people at the end. It's not amazing. Again, you can argue A- very easily for this thing. But I'll put it in A because of certain strengths it has, and the ult is pretty decent. It's pretty good. I feel like it's around a little bit better than everything in A, but it's not, like, actually maybe not, but it's around the level of A, I feel. Again, you could argue it's lower, but I think overall it's good. Has a ton of block breaks. I don't know. Isn't amazing though. But it's pretty good. Pika, I think Pika is better than Hiei. As flight, kick knocks people out, does damage, burns. Mirror kick is broken. It like sends people flying. Very good. Had giant Inui. Alt is very good. Giant Inui can knock people out very easily. Although it's very blockable. And unless a person focuses you, you're just probably not going to die to it. Overall, it's just very good through matches. I feel like you can argue it could be at the top of S if you're good enough with it. The only real issue is that it doesn't have amazing combo ability. So early game, it might struggle if you're getting 1v1. But again, you could just run. So it doesn't really matter. I think it's very good, but it could be better early game. So I'm gonna put it in an S. A little bit better than this. It does have flight, so it can get out of water, but not the best. All right. Next is Suke. I think this is one of the most overrated fruits in this game. People will be like, "Oh, it's coded or S or auto win, whatever." I just think it's an A tier. It's pretty good A tier though. I feel like it's better than everything here, and it has a lot more. I've seen it do more things than Bari and Kage. Although I've seen Kage always live the final circle, so I don't know. Invis. And I'm telling you, it annihilates people because you just put a ton of points in early game. Go Invis, they have a hard time tracking you, and you just destroy them. Very good. Other than that, rock can break down trees and get wood. Just the gimmick is very early. You can stall during the entire match with it since they're not gonna find you. I think it's the final circle where it struggles. It's just not as good as people think in the final circle. You can't hide, but the chances are you're just gonna get tossed by an ult or something, even if you're invisible. But yeah, it's all right. It could be better though. I'm gonna put it here. I don't think it has the potential to go higher than this. Everything could go lower. But right now, I feel like I'm stabilized around A-ish. It's again very good at 1v1s. Not much else though. I don't think it's amazing other place. All right, B. I think it has. I'm gonna do spin and B. I think it has a similar things and issues that the gum has, but instead of focusing on fruit, it's focused on damage itself. You can say it's higher than gum. I'm gonna argue it's higher than gum because with sword styles or even any swords, you can just combo with it. And it has movement, very good movement too. Stamina costs a little bit too much. I think on the flight, but if I remember, but yeah, it's all right. I think it's better than gum. It might at some point be A plus, A minus if people experiment with it, but I don't ever see people eat it. I think it's around this here. I think it's better at its job than Kilo. Is all I'm gonna say. Next is Suna. I think Suna is very similar to Ito. Its movement is worse. It's still decent, but it's worse. Its ult is better though. It absorbs people in, so you're guaranteed to hit a lot more people. Block breaks and just tosses them around. So if people are blocking it, you can still destroy them. This could be arguably an A. I mean an S with the. But the problem is that I think it has very bad early game because you can't combo with it. You can't do other stuff with it. The problem is that it has very bad / mid early game. You can do stuff with it, but it's not as good as it could be. But I do think late game it's fine. Things like Tornado, especially in duos and squads, you can do a lot with. It's a lot better in those modes than most other fruits. Next is Tori. I struggle to put this between auto and S. I'm gonna put it in S. I think it might be like this is the one I can't order properly. It could be here. It could be top of S. It could be like around here-ish. It could be in the middle. It could be at the bottom. I'm gonna put it here for now. It has auto heal. It has burst. The ult is decent. It can block break. Its form changes. It has a ton of healing, but the stamina is a big issue with it. I still don't think it's a big issue as people think it is. I think it's a lot better than people think it is, especially in I think like squads and stuff. Even if you're not healing your teammates, you're able to like just live, which is all that really matters. If you're able to take people out and support your teammate with burst and stuff midway through the fight, then you're gonna be set. I think it's a lot better than people are saying. I think it's S. I think it's decent. But yeah, Tori in this. Next is Yami. I think Yami's a top 3. You could argue it's the best. You could argue it's not the best. The only reason I'm arguing it's third is because it has no movement. And it has insane combos. So early game it's good. Late game it has enormous AoEs and giant suctions. It like does tons of damage. The ult is very good. It just has a ton of. I feel like this is one of the better. If there's no water, this is the best. If there is water though, I feel like it's here. Overall, these have very similar performances. Again, you could do something like this. You could do something like this. It doesn't really bother me. I think these are top 3 unarguably, honestly. But yeah, I feel like these 3 are the top. Yami's very good. I feel like I don't think it's overrated. It's very good. Next is Yami. I think Yami's very overrated. I think Yami's like A-. I think it's worse than Kage. People like talk about the revive. The revive isn't that good, I feel. Because especially in solos. In solos, I feel like it's trash. The survival thing it is pretty good combos. It's pretty decent at getting away. It has skedaddle, so it's able to go up above water, so it doesn't have to die. It has very good stuff to get away tools and stuff, and combo tools. But I think late game it just sucks. The ult is fine in late game, but it's not amazing. And the revival thing is kind of trash. I think in the final circuit it's fine, but in like the middle of the game, I think it sucks. Because what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get killed by somebody. You're gonna get put into red health, and they're gonna smack you up again and kill you. There's a chance that maybe you win the interaction if you're both tying, but the chances are you're gonna get like half their health, and then you're gonna get like 30% of your health back, and then they're gonna throttle you again. So I don't think it's as good as it is. I feel like this is more of a skill dependent for like a range from the top to the bottom of A-. I don't think it's as good as people think it is. And the last fruit is Zushi. This ranges from here to here. I'm gonna put it in here because I did use it yesterday and it was kind of not as good as I thought it was gonna be. Initially I had it like up here-ish, because the meters are very good, the ult is very good, but they're not they're not as good as you think they are. You have to target someone in specific to use it at its full effect. It has combos, it has push. On paper it's very good, but it's not in practice. It's not as amazing. It does have a flight, so it is something. It's very good. I just think it's worse than these 3, I feel. Although it is very good. I feel like something like Gura just has its late game is a lot stronger than Zushi's, or what you think Zushi's might be. So I have it here. Very good. Not as amazing as people think it is though. Well, I don't say no. I think people are kind of underrating it, but it's very good. Put it here though. Again, you can argue to be higher. But yeah, that's my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Good. This is probably about it. You could adjust things. Again, you can have certain things lower or higher. I think these are just the definite top 3. You could argue that these things could be S, and these are the only ones here. Something like this. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, I feel like this is for like every single game mode. I even made arguments for why but some are better in solos and duos and shit. I could do like a tier list for just solos or duos or squads, but I don't think I will. But yeah, this is my tier list. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.